Hello, lovely friends. Today for our mat Pilates class, let's go ahead and grab a small ball. As always, a blanket or something if you feel like you need some cushion for your knees or even for your tailbone or hip. And we'll get going. So pretty much that simple. So I want you to just start by coming to a seated position today. If you'd like to elevate onto a folded up blanket, something like that, if that makes you feel more comfortable, feel free to do so. We're going to take the ball, okay, just taking it right at center to start. I want you to start with a big deep breath in as you take the ball overhead and start to notice if your ribs are starting to flare out and come forward. And then just bring those ribs back down. So I'll show you from side. Okay. So as you take the ball, so if you do feel a little locked or a little kind of rounded when you sit down, sit up on a blanket or something a little higher so that you can work on your posture while seated. Okay, so just make sure that we're not pulling back so far that the ribs are starting to move forward and the back is round or arching too much. Okay, so I want you to pull those ribs down. So this will be the same as when you're on the mat. Okay, take a little pause. So the ball is down. I want you to inhale, take it up, and then keep the ribs down. Okay, exhale, bring it back to center as though this ball actually was attached to a cable to the ceiling. Okay, so inhale. There's a little bit of energy that helps pull it up, but then exhale, like you have to pull, drag it back down, push into it with your hands a little bit. Okay, start to inhale, lift up. Now again, notice there's no movement of the ribs and your ribs and hips are staying pretty connected here through the transverse abdominals. Same action that will be when we start to recline back. Okay, so inhale, think of your back on the mat. One more here. Inhale up. And then exhale, bring it down. So still staying seated, upright. Inhale, take it up overhead. And then take the right arm, reach it to the floor as you reach the left arm all the way over. Inhale, come up. Take the opposite hand and reach all the way over. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, reach. Just try to keep that ball kind of aligned over the crown of your head. So notice if there was like a pole right up from the center of the head or a little antenna, it would connect to that ball over the crown of the head. So everything moving as a unit. We'll take two more. Reach. Inhale. Exhale over. And then come back to center. So take that ball, inhale, bring it forward, sweep it over to the right, just over that knee, come back to center, inhale, and sweep it over to the left. So as you're reaching, I want you to try to pull in deeper through the center. So as though someone had a hold around your waist or a band around your waist and it's anchoring you back, and you're just taking a gentle reach away from that anchor point. So keeping your sit bones really heavy. Reach. Two more. So right after this one, we'll go one more each side. Inhale. Relax the shoulders. You're just reaching forward, not from the neck. And over. Good. Coming back up to center. All right, we're going to work our way onto the mat. So we'll turn sideways. So coming back to a similar position when you were cross-legged. Now the feet are on the mat, knees are hip distance. If you do feel like you do better with an anchor, you can take a block or another ball, something here between the knees to squeeze. Otherwise, we'll just keep those feet planted as much as you can. Inhale, lifting the ball overhead. Now exhale and reach it forward, lean back. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, bring it back. So again, that same energy that you had a moment ago when I asked you to imagine that the ball was attached to a cable that is kind of spring-loaded to the sky. So inhale, slowly lift it up. Ribs stay down. Exhale, as though you're pulling it back down and leaning back. I want you to try to keep your feet pretty anchored as best you can. Okay, try to push all the way down. Two more. Inhale. There's a connection between your ribs and hips. Just leaning back. Those shoulders are relaxed. Come on, one more. Inhale. Exhale, lean it back. Inhale, coming up. Now go ahead, you can scoop your hips up a little bit more. And we'll start to roll all the way back. So deep breath in. Exhale, this time rolling all the way back nice and slow. So keeping the feet on the mat. Inhale, reach the ball overhead. Again, ribs are down. Exhale, reach it up and start to float the shoulders, reaching over the knees. Inhale, rolling back down. Keep rib cage drawn in, shoulders relaxed away from ears as they reach overhead. Exhale. Inhale. So again, imagine that there is a cable that's attached to this ball. Now it's over your head to the wall behind you. You're pulling it away from the wall. Inhale. Gently reaching back, ribs down, hip points not dialed up, just neutral with your hips, but connecting to your ribs through that band of muscle around the waist, transverse abdominals. And two more. Push into the ball with your hands, relax the shoulders from your ears. Last one, inhale and exhale. Let's roll it all the way back again. Now this time floating your feet up, head is down, and take the ball in just your right hand. Left arm can continue to reach toward the sky. We're going to take that right arm over the head only and drop your left toes toward the floor. Back up to center, same side. Right arm, left leg. Inhale, drop it down. Exhale. I want you to really feel the mid back or around your rib cage, continuing to make contact toward the floor. Try not to flatten out your low back, but do put a lot of energy into the pelvic space of your bowl of your belly there. So between your hip points, between your between your hip points, your pubic bone, and your belly button right here. And you're keeping a lot of energy in that lower abdomen. Okay, last three. Reach. 2. Last one. Take the ball with both hands. Drop both feet back to the floor. Inhale. Exhale, rise up. Reach. Roll it back down slow and smooth. Inhale. Reach overhead. Ribs stay connected. Exhale. Good job. 3 more right here at center. Inhale. Make sure you're getting a good inhale and then blow it out. You want that inhale to go all the way down to the pelvic floor. So a big deep inhale through the mid waist, all the way down to the low belly, into your back, and blow it out. Come back to center. Take the ball right over the chest. Float the legs up again. Now left arm is going to take the ball. Right leg will do the moving. So inhale, take left arm overhead. Drop the right toes to the floor and come back to center. Okay, drop that rib cage down. You can take your right hand and place it over your rib cage to make sure you're not getting a rib flare here. Okay, so inhale as you take it away from the center. Exhale. Back to center. Good. 4 more. Inhale. Exhale. 3. Last 2. Can reconnect with that rib cage. And 1. Very good. Take the feet back to the floor. Feet are pretty wide, so maybe the width of your mat even. Now, walk them away from you. They don't need to be real close to your hips. Reach the ball overhead just as you have. So you're going back to that same movement, lifting your shoulders, and if you can roll up the rest of the way, take the roll all the way up. Okay, if that's not where you are working today with a little bit of ease and you have to throw yourself up there, I want you to focus on staying at the first level and work on the strength and getting deeper into the core. Coming back down. So you're going to take whichever one suits you best today and continue to progress from that point. Exhale, blow it out. You have to breathe. All right, so I know oftentimes when I'm right there in the same room with my peeps, they're holding their breath or they're barely breathing. I want to be able to hear you breathe through your camera. All right, breathe, blow it out. 2 more. The breath is the same, the movement is the same, whether you're rolling up halfway or all the way. Exhale, there's never a throwing of the arms. We don't want to hinge at that rib space either, so making sure there's no flare. Last one. Let's roll it back. Now, coming all the way back, float those feet up, little tabletop with your shins. Inhale, take both arms overhead, drop your toes to the floor. It's just a little hover, and back to center. So, try not to let your feet land all the way to the floor, just a little tap, and back to center. Good, inhale. Exhale. Imagine there's like a little bungee cord that's right here on your hip point and then attached to your rib cage. They're keeping everything closed down. There's a nice band of muscles that run around the waist, so horizontal. And that's staying connected and contracted. Inhale. Try not to smash your back to the mat, but do keep your ribs heavy. Last 3. Good, 2. Kind of push it to the ball with your hands. And last 1. Keep the legs up. Reach up to the sky. Rotate those knees out just a little bit. Actually, let's go back to that single. I'm going to go back to bent knees. We have the ability to change our mind, which is what's happening. We're going to bend the knees here. Go ahead and lift up. Now, taking your right leg, reach it out. And then your left. If you need to continue with your head down, go ahead. I'm going to reach that ball without shrugging the shoulders. Relax the shoulders. Head can be down, or you could even take the ball slightly behind the head, not just the neck, but behind the head. And imagine that you're trying to continue to very, very lightly touch the head to the ball if you need a little support. Come on, 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Very good. Take the feet back to the floor. Roll back down to the mat. Take the arms overhead. Walk the feet away from your hips just a bit. Inhale. Exhale. Reach the ball overhead, back over to the chest, and now over to the left. Bring it down. Inhale. Up and over, and then to the right. I want you to watch what's happening with your knees and your hips. Are you rocking? So if you rock to your left, your knees will slant with you. All right, my whole body just rocked over to the left. Instead, I want you to try to aim your knees toward the sky. Grab a yoga block or something to squeeze if that's becoming a real challenge. If it's hard to get that action without some feedback, go ahead and squeeze something between the knees. Just come up, give it a reach. You may find one side a little easier than the other. Make sure you're engaging before you lift your head. Let's try 4 more. So just 2 to each side. And 3, move slowly. Last 2. Last 1, almost there. Abs are on fire. Come back to center. And rest for just a moment. Go ahead and bring that ball now between the thighs, unless you already have something that you're holding there. Walk your feet up so they're pretty close to your glutes. Arms down by your sides, toes spread wide, all pointing to the end of your mat. Starting to lift the hips up and take a pause. Exhale, lower it back down. Squeeze that ball. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, slowly lower down. So every time you lift, I want you to really push through your feet and then pull with your feet. So push all the way from big toe to little toe, down into the center of your heel, and then feel like you're kind of drawing your knees over your toes, or kind of at the same time, it feels like you're pulling your heels back towards your glutes. Lower it down slowly. Let's take 3 more. Continue to squeeze the ball. Inhale. 2. Let those shoulders stay back and relaxed. Open through the chest. Last one. Back to center. And release for just a moment. Take the ball. Stretch out the legs. Reach the legs to the corners of your mat. Now keep the legs straight. Inhale. Exhale, rolling up. Reach forward with the ball. Now continue to roll up part way or all the way. We'll do it a few times, so if you don't come up all the way, it's okay. Roll it back slow wherever you are. So even if you don't lift very far, I want you to hold it, take a breath, and then try to still continue with that slow movement. So we inhale, exhale. If the legs are straight, push out through the legs. Okay, so ideally, we're going to keep the legs straight no matter which level you're working at. Roll it back. Just try to push through the legs. Inhale, rib cage stays down and connected. Exhale, blow it out. That blowing out the breath finds a deeper connection in your core. Inhale. Bring it back. On the last one, go ahead and come the rest of the way up. If that means you need to roll to your side to help press yourself up, go ahead and do that. Find your way up into seated. Legs are spread wide again. I'm going to take that ball in the right hand and bring the left arm out to the side. So right now that ball is in the right hand, close to the inside of the left leg. We're going to roll it out toward the toes, reach, and come back up. Let's continue on that side. Inhale, little rotation and reach. Come back to center. Exhale. Now take a look. If this shoulder, if when you rotate, if that shoulder tends to kind of come forward this way, I want you just to bring it to your hip and let it relax back. Okay, don't worry about keeping the arm out. Think about what's happening through your core. And right here, those knees can be softly bent as well. 2 more. Inhale. We've got that same band across the waist as though it's attached to the wall behind you and you're moving away from it, but the core is still pulling in because there's a little force that's happening right there at center. Come back to center, and then we'll switch sides. So again, that right arm can be out, or right hand on hip is a great place to start. So inhale, and then exhale, just outline the inside of that leg on the right side. So left to right. As I rotate, I'm really pulling that right side waist back, right shoulder, right elbow. And then if you feel like you can take your arm out and maintain control over that shoulder, and it feels okay, you can take that option. Last 4. And 3. Doing good. Continue to breathe. Find that space where you're holding that band around your waist and you're trying to move away from it. Last 2. Last 1. And come back to center. Good. Take both hands right on top of the ball here. Okay. Inhale. I want you to just move it forward. You can continue to face whatever direction you're at. I'm just going here so you can see better. So we're going to take one hand on top of the other. The legs are fairly wide, about the width of your mat. Inhale, soft bend in the knees. Exhale, roll it forward, and then bring it back. Now again, there's not a hinge at my hips other than the natural hinge of sitting. Okay, so I'm keeping the hinge the same, meaning I'm not moving forward from the hips. This one, the knees are bent, and you're actually moving from the spine, which is, it's always about intention. It's about intention of the movement. If we were doing a seated forward fold in yoga, I would probably say, no, we're hinging from the hips. That's because our intention would be to stretch the back of the legs. Here, I'm working on that spinal space. So really rounding and pulling the belly in to support the spine. 2 more. Reach forward. So pull in deeper the more you reach forward. And last one. Come back up. Let's roll it back again. So we'll keep the feet about to the corners of the mat, slowly rolling all the way back. Take the legs up. Okay, so from here, taking one leg at a time toward the floor. So you could go back to bent knee variation if that is better for you. Otherwise, we're going to try to take one leg straight down toward the floor. Hold, and then bring it back up. Little scissor here. Inhale. Take the opposite leg. Bring it up. Drop that rib cage down. We don't want a big rib flare. Inhale. Exhale, center. Now with this action, we can add on. When we add that upper body, it becomes more challenge for the core. So we can take the arms, reach overhead. Exhale. Got slight rotation of both legs. So knees are slightly rotating out. External rotation. Inhale. Anchor. Exhale up. Let's take just the right side as you come back to center. So just the right side only. Both arms go overhead. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to center and reach. Drop it down. Same side. Inhale. Exhale and reach. 2 more on that side. Inhale. Exhale. Lift. And 1. Left side. Inhale. Drop it down. If you need a little bend in either of your knees, go ahead and take it. Inhale, take it down, reach. Exhale, up. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Very nice. Bend both knees. Hover right here for a moment. Reach up and over to the left, straighten the right leg. Switch sides, up and over. Now, if any time you feel like you need to bring your hands behind your head or just one hand behind your head, take that option. So if you want to lose the ball, you can do that. It's just an added sense of awareness when you have to hold that ball in front of you. Inhale. Exhale, reach without rocking. Last 4, 3, good, 2, and last 1. Come back to center and rest for just a moment. Drop those feet to the floor. Reach everything out long. Nice stretch here, full body. So come back to center. We'll take the knees up. And this time with a bent knee, pull knees into chest, reach the ball over your shins. Try to lift your feet a little bit so they're not just hanging loosely. Okay, so intention of drawing knees toward chest. Floating chest is the last option. You can always keep your head down and then reach everything away from center. Inhale, exhale, bring it back, curling into your little ball. Inhale, head can stay down. Legs don't have to go very low, but it's up to you to make sure that you know where you're working. So it can be just a reach toward the sky. If that feels challenging enough, reach toward the wall with a little hover or hollow hold, or as parallel as you can go to the floor. Last 3.
When those legs go out, try not to dome the belly. You're still trying to draw in. 2. And last one. Very nice. Rest. Whew. All right. Take those knees side to side a few times. Go ahead, and we're going to roll over on the side. So if you feel like you need a little cushion for your hip, go ahead and take that. I generally feel like it makes it a little more comfortable. So if you have a cushion, you don't want it to throw your balance off. So make sure it's not too thick. So we'll lie right here, side lying first. So we're going to take that bottom arm and just reach it out. Okay? So it's going to be right in front of you. Your head is going to be floating. So if you feel like you need a block to rest it on between, go ahead and you can take that underneath you here. We're going to reach the top arm, bend the bottom knee. Okay, so here's how I want you to set it up. Bring your bottom leg up a bit so it's hinged at the hip and the knee is bent. Okay, the bottom arm is just reaching out. You can place the palm down or up depending on how it feels for you and your shoulder. I like it up. Okay, you're going to reach that ball over the head. The top leg is straight down the mat. Inhale. Exhale, reach and give it a little lift. Now the intention is not to push into this arm. It's going to aid you a little bit. Just going to reach up and then try to use the muscles to lift and reach that leg. Okay. Inhale. So if that's a little much, you can place your hand behind your head. You can do it right here. This is another great option. Inhale. Just cupping your hand around your head, not pushing it forward. Just lift and reach. Or with that straight arm variation, lifting up and reaching. Just try that for 3 more, whichever version works best for you. 3, 2, last one. Very good. All right. Come back to center and just rest that side for a moment. You can rest your head on your ball or on your block, whatever you might have here. Let's bring the knees together this time. So right where you left off, that bottom leg is still bent. Now the top leg is on top of it. I want you just to flex that top foot. So your toes are both your feet. Toes are pulling back towards your knees and your head. Float the top leg just a little without rolling back. Now I want you to check them out, look down at your knees. See if you can make that top leg look like it's shorter by pulling the hip back. Okay? So as though you were going to send your hip to the wall behind you. It looks like that leg got a little shorter. Now from there, drop it down a little. Okay? Now we'll lift it up an inch or two and pull it back up towards you and then back down toward the bottom leg. So we send it down just a couple inches, not much. We lift up a couple, we bring it in, and we drop it down. So let's try it just a couple more. We shift it down, not much. Okay, so you're going to see your waist move a little. Lift it up, keep your waist here, draw your knee up, drop the leg down. Push it down, up, in, and down. Think of a square with your knee. That's what you're doing, a square with your knee without rolling back. Okay, good. Now let's just reverse that for a moment. So we'll bring it up, push it down with the foot, down, and back to center. So we go up, down, down, up. So think of lift it, push it, drop it, move it. All right, little square with your knee, that's it. Or you could think of it with your big toe, but I like to think of it with my knee. That's what my focus is. Let's do one more. This is it. Adding in a little extra hip work here and release it. Just shake it out. Let's flip it over to the other side. We'll do those 2 moves and we will then stretch it out. Okay, so rolling over. So you're going to bend your bottom leg, okay, bottom knee. Check it out. That heel is in line with your knee. Knee is in line with your hip here. Okay, top leg will be straight. First option, just cup your hand, spread your fingers wide, and just cup your hand around the side of your head and toward the back. Okay, so the other hand's holding the ball. Inhale. And then exhale, reach and try to lift up just slightly. Bring it back down. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Your other option is to take that arm straight. Take maybe a slightly bigger movement up. Inhale, reach. Exhale. So we're never trying to dig into this bottom arm to make it do all the work for lifting us up. It should be our muscles on our side waist lifting us up, those obliques. The other part is just there as a little extra aid. Last 3, wherever you are. 2. Last 1. And then bring it down. Very good. Rest your head on your ball. Bring that top leg now to meet the bottom leg. So everything looks like it's stacked. Okay, so we're going to make sure not rolling back. There's a little weight forward. That top leg, I want you to lift it just slightly. So now knee and heel are still in line. I want you to shift it down. Good. And then lift it up. Pull it in. Drop it down. Okay, so shift it down, up, in, and down. Now that bottom waist is light. Okay, so check out your bottom waist. Make sure your bottom waist is not heavy on the mat. There's still action happening here through the core. Okay, up, in, down, back down, up, in, down. Just think you're drawing a square with your knee. That's it. It's very, very small, very localized. We're going to reverse that square coming up right here. So we drop it down, lift it up, push it down, down, center. Okay. Lift, shift down, down, center. Lift, shift it, lower it, back to center. 2 more. Up, down, good. Check in with your bottom waist. 1 more breath. And exhale it out. And release it. Whew. All right, slap it out a little. We're going to come all the way up. Use your top hand. Straighten your top leg. Push yourself up. Let's sit in a mermaid position. So a little Z sit with your legs at top front leg. Just running across the blanket if you want to stay on it. You can even stack your other leg just right across the arch of your front leg. So whichever way feels better for you. Let's reach it up. Oh, nice stretch through that side waist. And exhale over to the side. Give it a little twist. Reach it out. Inhale. Pull back up. Exhale. Reach long. Back up. Over to the side and reach it forward. Come all the way up. Let's give it a little stretch forward. And then back to center, switching sides. A nice little Z sit again. Inhale. Always adjust depending on how you're feeling, through your hips, through your knees. And then over to the side, reach. Give it that twist. That's my favorite part, that twist right there. Come up, inhale. Reach. And exhale, last one. Reach it out. All the way over and back up to center. Let's come forward for a little stretch to the front for the hip. And back to center. Coming back where you started into your seated position, somewhere that feels right for you. Let's take a moment, just a few little cat-cows seated. Going back to that just gentle movement. And we'll come back to center. Pausing. Sweep the arms up, big reach. And as you exhale, bring the hands down, giving yourself a little bow for showing up today, for doing something good for you. Namaste, way to go, being a Pilates rock star today.